Welcome to California in Focus. I'm Cole Lauterbach, managing editor of the Center Square Newswire service. Today we'll be covering the closure of yet another business in San Francisco's historic Fillmore district. Now a Safeway is shutting down its grocery store nearby with ongoing concerns about associate and consumer safety. Joining me is California reporter Kenneth Schrupp. Kenneth, at this point, we're starting to kind of hear the common theme. Was this one any different than all the other closures?
Yes and no. Safeway has said about a year ago that it was shutting down this store because it is selling it to a real estate developer. But the question is, why is it trying to sell this store in the first place? Its recent announcement, shared with the San Francisco Chronicle exclusively before anyone else, included concerns about associate and customer safety and persistent theft in the area. When we look at what others are saying about this store, there was one San Francisco resident, who co-founded a pro-Kamala Harris election group. He said that it's the only store location he's been to where the store guards wear body armor and military patches. So this isn't exactly a safe area.
No, and you've seen rampant drug use, theft, assaults, loitering, in this specific area. And recently we've seen law enforcement start to lean in a little bit more in these trouble areas in other cities. One being Seattle. After seeing areas like this, they have resurrected laws that are preemptive in kicking people out of those areas that loiter and are likely going to be committing crimes if left unattended. What steps has San Francisco taken in the Fillmore district to try and stem all of this crime?
Well, first of all, Safeway itself removed self-checkout kiosks. So now if you want to steal, you can't even pretend you've paid. You have to just walk out, as one does. In response to Safeway's initial announcement of the closure a year ago, Mayor London Breed said that she would send in police officers to guard the store. This is very expensive, right? These police officers being assigned to just keep this politically important store open. It's a heavy tax on city resources. And you can't help but wonder, why protect just the store? Why not the whole neighborhood? Why don't they have the capacity to improve public safety in general? What's going on?
And it also begs the question too. We talk about homeless, and we talk about political, prosecutors deciding that they are going to, continue a catch and release system. At what point in this neighborhood are you left with what's referred to as a food desert, and what do local officials do?
Well, Cole, research really shows that there's no such thing as a food desert. There are only crime oases. Unless you're in a rural area where there aren't enough people for a grocery store to stay open, that actually is a complete food desert. And but in cities where you have a high population density, it really is a problem of local governance. Fillmore district has the same population density as New York City, so there are plenty of people there to go shopping for groceries, even if they're doing so with government benefits. Grocery stores, should keep in mind, have profit margins that averaged 1.6% in 2023. These are very low margin businesses that are very capital intensive.
Very, very thin.
Right. So for every item sold, you have to sell many, many more of that item just to break even, let alone make any kind of money. So grocery stores and supermarkets are extremely sensitive to theft. And theft in this area is a serious problem.
Now, describe this plan that San Francisco is exploring, where it's referred to as markets, free food markets, which is a little different from the free market type of philosophy. Rather, just being able to show a card and get what they want and go. Is that accurate?
Right. Yeah. So San Francisco has decided it's going to embrace free markets. And by free markets, I mean taxpayer funded food banks where it's like you're shopping at a store and you do fill up a cart full of food and you check out. But instead of paying money, you just swipe your card once because you get a limited number of accesses to these food empowerment markets. And they check you out so they can keep track of inventory and know what they should go buy with taxpayer money.
Now, this has been tried elsewhere, right?
There is a pilot program currently running in the Bayview Hunters Point neighborhood of San Francisco, also known as District 10. It is one of the poorest neighborhoods in San Francisco and is home to its largest housing projects. I spoke to the individual who created this concept in San Francisco, funded it, and is a senior consultant for this pilot program market. And what Joffrey Morris told me is that a lot of chains, a lot of stores have opened up in the community over the years, but they've all left, which means if the city is not willing to clean up crime, then they have to come in bring in these taxpayer funded food distribution centers. Now, there's something that Joffrey is trying to do with this is ensure that the kind of people who are using this program, and this program is meant to supplement food benefits on food stamps when they run out towards the end of the month, are using other programs to get on track with their lives.
It's shocking. And it all sounds very expensive. And I do feel bad for the people that live in that area and do try to, make a home in those places when, the Safeway could have been one of the only places left that they would go to. And now, that option is gone. I mean, like you said, a food desert is kind of a misnomer, but in terms of livability in those areas, it's got to be tough.
Right. And I can't help but think when you have these taxpayer funded food centers open, what business is going to try to compete with free?
Yeah. That does definitely become an issue. Kenneth, thank you for joining us today. Listeners can keep up with this story and more at thecentersquare.com.